going on, everybody? Josh here, the driver's seat. Let's get some control over our health. So today's question is, how do you deal with constipation on the keto diet? Now, we need to go over a couple of things. In particular, the one thing that you can do immediately that will have a massive impact, and that's hydration status. So whenever somebody is implementing a ketogenic diet, it's very likely that the reason why they're experiencing these symptoms is because of dehydration and how the body is treating sodium and potassium differently because we're not eating as many carbohydrates. When you're not eating as many carbohydrates, water is going to plummet. Carbohydrates are predominantly made of water. If you don't adjust to the fact that you're decreasing carbohydrates by increasing hydration, constipation is going to be something that you experience. What ends up happening is, as you do not hydrate yourself, the body is going to take water from the colon, okay? Essentially making the contents of the colon, the feces, the poop, drier, essentially making it harder to move throughout the intestines. And this is simply just a symptom of dehydration. So how do you fix this? First, drink more water. Second, increase sodium content as well, because remember, when the body is looking for water and it doesn't have as much water, it's going to treat sodium very, very differently. It's going to push more of it out of the kidneys. Then potassium is going to have to meet the amount of sodium in the body, so it lowers itself as well. So increase hydration and increase sodium. Another thing that affects constipation during a keto diet is the drastic change of macronutrients. So with any diet, essentially, you're drastically restricting certain macronutrients or certain food groups. And with a ketogenic diet in particular, you're decreasing carbohydrates. Fiber is a carbohydrate, okay? It's not one that can be absorbed, but it's a carbohydrate. And so when you decrease your carbohydrate consumption to 10%, 15%, 5%, you're not gonna have as much opportunity to get fiber. How do we combat this? Well, one, make sure that you're getting dark leafy greens and non-starchy vegetables as your fiber content, all right? We're not gonna be eating grains anymore. We're not eating refined carbohydrates. We're not eating foods out of boxes that are fortified with more fiber. So we're gonna have to combat that with something, and this is how we're gonna do it: more leaves. Okay, so essentially anything that looks like leaves in a tree, grass, dark leafy greens. So we've got kale, spinach, red kale, purple kale, chard, rainbow chard, Swiss chard. So we have all of the cruciferous vegetables that you can find, ones that are fermented in the colon. These are going to be really good for the motility of the feces, essentially. So these are vegetables that we want to have, and make sure they're non-starchy vegetables. When we first start a ketogenic diet, and even if you're doing it for a prolonged period of time and you're focusing a lot on the numbers, we're really focusing on the amount of fat that we're getting percent-wise, we're really focusing on making sure that our percent carbohydrates are low, we tend to lose sight of what we're putting in our body. Obviously, we know what we are eating, but it always becomes about the numbers, and we forget that, the fiber content, the dark leafy greens, the cruciferous vegetables that have a big impact on moving food through the gastric system, we lose sight on these foods because they really don't quantify the way that fat, protein, and carbohydrates do. It's not something that we focus on from a numerical standpoint. And that becomes kind of the Achilles heel sometimes, and why people quit early, because they experience all of these side effects that are unfavorable because they're kind of a slave to the numbers. Remember, if you put dark leafy greens, okay, and we have dark leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables that are beneficial to the flora of our intestines, if we put this underneath whatever we are eating and use this as the base, we're going to be sitting pretty as far as our motility and as far as our regularity goes. Also, before I forget, A really great tip, we all know about fiber. We have soluble and insoluble fiber. Fiber that's soluble in water and fiber that's insoluble in water. Now, if you combine the two, if you have food sources that have insoluble fiber and you have food sources that have soluble fiber, and you combine them when eating a meal or a snack, what ends up happening is these two types of fiber create almost this gelatinous layer in the intestines. Just want to make this turn, make sure I'm not killing anybody. It creates this gelatinous layer in the intestines, which helps the motility of food throughout the gastric system. If you guys have any questions, please post below, share, subscribe, like, dislike, you know how this all goes. And if there's anything that you want to learn about that I haven't already talked about, or something that you want to learn more about it and go in depth about, let me know. I'm more than happy and ready to do a video on it. And if you're somebody who is new to the ketogenic diet or have been doing it for a while and haven't seen headway or haven't seen the results that you want to see, check out my website, ketosistherightway.com. There is a course there where it's me walking you through the entire process. 4 hours of video content that is essentially going to help you through your very specific goals and needs. There's also a PDF file that's 113 pages of content that walks you through the process as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, this has been The Driver's Seat. Have a great day.